Hello guys, welcome to our brand new lesson. Today we are starting a brand new topic which is called polynomials. So could you guys write that down as a very large heading into your books and let's get started. The first thing you guys need to know is we have come across several functions throughout this whole course. So let's write this down. So we know we have a function that looks something like this. Y equals to mx plus c, something very familiar, and we know it is called a linear equation. Alright, let's go one step forward. We know y equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. Because 2 is the highest power here, we know this is a quadratic equation. I'm going to write equation as EQN for shortcut. Let's go up one further. Our highest power could possibly be 3. Okay, bx squared because we're going to go one power less. Cx, that's to the power of 1. And no x, which is plus d. So a, b, c, d can be any number in your equation. Because 3 is the highest power, we know that this equation here is a cubic equation. Right? Let's go up one forward. Let's say we have the highest power is now 4. And then 3, highest power, no, second power is 3, 2, 1 power, no x. Okay, because 4 is the highest power here, we call it a quartic equation. Now, we can keep going forever and forever and forever. So we can have, for example, ax to the power of 5 plus blah, 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 blah. You know the drill by now. Instead of having a title for each equation, we say it is of degree 5. And then the next one of degree 6, of degree 7, of degree 8, and so on, so on, so on, so on, so on. Now, for your linear equation, our highest power is an invisible 1. So just keep that in mind. All of these here are called polynomials. Alright, so they're also functions, but we can also call them as polynomials. Yeah? Because this equation here, the linear equation, it has a power of 1, okay? We have a special name for this type of equation. We call it a Monic Polynomial because it has a highest power of 1, yeah? Now, monic, monotone, like one tone, monocycle, one wheel cycle. Okay, there's many types of analogies, but we say mon basically means 1. Yeah? There's a few notes you need to know. What you know about all these powers here that you guys can see is that they are all positive powers. Every single one of these x has a positive power. So let's write that down. Polynomials only have a positive power. That means we can never have a negative power. As soon as you see a negative power, it is not a polynomial. Alright, now let's move on to the next part. There's some key features you guys need to know about polynomials. I'm going to give you guys an example. So let's say we're using this type of polynomial. 8x cubed plus 4x plus 7. We know this is a cubic equation. Why? Because 3 is your highest power. Instantly, you know it is a cubic equation. Now, you always look at the highest power. It has a special name. The name for this power is called degree. So the degree represents the highest power. Yeah? That means if you have a look at these, there are 3 terms. There's 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms in this polynomial. And this means that this whole term here, because it has the highest power, we call it the leading term. Okay, the leading term doesn't have to sit at the front. It can be in the middle, it can be at the end, as long as it has the highest power. Now, because it's a leading term, we know this is called a coefficient. So we also call this a leading coefficient. Okay, so it's like a leader. If you have the highest power, you're a leader, you're a leading term, leading coefficient. And the last thing you need to know is, see how this one has no x in it? It's on its own, constantly on its own. We call it a constant. Okay? Alright, I'm going to give you guys 2 examples. First example, determine whether the following are polynomials. So just by looking at this, we see that this is a positive power. This one has no x on it, so we can ignore that. This one has an x and the power is 4, which is positive. Therefore, it is a polynomial. Cool. Looking at your next example, we can see that we have a square root and a fraction. They are so ugly in an equation. We want to get rid of the ugliness, so let's change it into powers. So we have x to the power of half. And then if you want to bring this x back up from the dead, so this is the ground, it's underneath, you want to bring it back from the dead. Okay, so we'll be 2 is already above the ground, x is now above the ground, but it's dead still, so it's -1. Now, looking at this is a positive power, this is a positive power, this is a negative power. That means it is not a polynomial. Cool.